Everybody, we are live action. What is up, y'all? We are a little bit late today, hour and a half. We scheduled later than normal because normally we're 4:30, but we're going late a little later because I was in the OR. Dr. Pinesett here, the Premed Productivity Expert, and today we're talking about trustworthiness. Are you a trustworthy college student? Are you a trustworthy pre-med? I'm going to ask you that question. I'm going to hit the intro, and then we're going to get into building that trustworthy, being able to rely on yourself and having others rely on you. Let's get into that, y'all, right after this intro.
But stop making excuses. Stop whining. Stop, right? Get at it. No excuses. Just dominate.
All right, guys. Dr. Pinesett here, the Premed Productivity Expert. And as always, we're about positivity. We're about productivity. And today we're talking about trustworthiness. And I love this topic. I was thinking about this as I had a conversation with a student earlier this week, and they're trying to prepare for their MCAT. And I'm talking to them, and I'm like, hey, we go through all these steps. I'm telling you what to do, but I can't trust you to execute. And they're like, what? You can't trust me to execute? I said, yeah, I can't trust you to execute on what I tell you. I said, worse, you can't even trust you to execute and follow through. And so for so many of you guys, this is the issue. And this is why we have the anxiety. This is why we have the hopelessness. This is why we have the despair. This is why we feel overwhelmed, right? It feels futile to work when you know your work won't result in the outcome you want. It's like, why chase it? Why even give that effort if it's not going to turn out? It's why so many of us quit on our dreams, because we can't rely on ourselves. We can't trust on ourselves to show up, act accordingly, right? Do what we're supposed to do, to persist when things get difficult. Yes. Right? To focus in on the task and not get distracted, and to follow through until when? Until it's finished, until it's completed, and not just done sloppily, but executed at a high level. And so for so many of you guys, how many of you guys as pre-meds, as students, are you trustworthy? If I were to ask you straight up, like I asked this student earlier this week, can you trust you to show up, show out, right, and get the outcome? We're live, so I'll wait. This is an interactive session. Comment right now. How many of you guys feel like, you know what, I can really trust myself to get the job done? Because we talk about this all the time, right? I hear people all the time, oh, I don't trust the government. Oh, they're after me. Oh, these med schools, the crafty algorithms, I don't trust this person I'm in a relationship with. How many of you guys are trustworthy? How many of you guys know that other people are looking at you suspect sideways because you don't have the trust? You don't inspire that trust in other people. And this is such a powerful thing, guys, because as we constantly say, you cannot believe that with which you do not, right? You cannot achieve that with which you do not believe. And for many of you guys, you don't trust yourself, and it shows. And as a result, other people can't trust you. How does it play out for you guys as students? Well, let's start here. How many of you guys as pre-med students, why is this trustworthiness so important? So many of you guys, right? The opposite of self-trust, self-accountability, self-reliability is what? Self-doubt. Most of you guys walked around cloaked in self-doubt. Cloaked in self-doubt. And I was in church last week, 2 weeks ago. Actually, it was not this past sermon, but sermon 2 Sundays ago. And the pastor was talking about how you have to read the word of the Lord and cloak yourself in an armor of the Lord, the word of the Lord. And I was like, dang, that's a deep metaphor. And that's what we're trying to do for you guys as students, is arm you in the armor, right, of confidence, the armor of a highly skilled individual, the armor of knowing and the persistence, the determination to say, listen, I will never quit. No excuses. I will dominate. I will get to my goal. And that's what happens here. Many of you guys are cloaked in the wrong armor. You're cloaked in a shield. You're weighted down with self-doubt. I want you guys to have trust in yourself, have that self-trust. And how does it play out? Well, it starts with, how many of you guys as students and as pre-meds quit before you even get started? Who knows what I'm talking about? How many of my false starters are out here? Where you say, listen, I want to do this. I want to go to medical school. So if I'm going to medical school, I've got to take these classes. I got to do these extracurriculars and so forth. And then opportunities arise. Oh, this class is being offered. Oh, this club is up for, they're looking for a president. And then you don't even attempt to go get it, right? The most common thing I see from students is like, oh man, I don't have any money. I need money for college. College is crazy expensive now. And there's all these scholarships out there. And I can't tell you how many students don't even apply to the scholarships. Oh, I'll never get it. I'll never get the scholarship. Oh, I'll never apply for that research fellowship because I'll never get it. How many of you guys quit before the race even starts because you have too much self-doubt and you don't trust yourself to be the qualified candidate. You don't trust yourself to be acceptable. You don't see yourself as worthwhile. So how could others possibly want you in their program? How could others possibly want to give you a scholarship? How many of you guys quit before you even get started? And I say this all the time. The only time you don't get into medical school is when you quit on yourself. And for many of you guys as pre-med, you never even get out of the start block. You false start because you don't have enough confidence. You don't have enough belief. You don't have enough hope, enough optimism in yourself that you will show up and do the job, or that other people will see you as that reliable person, so you don't even go for things. You got to go, y'all. You got to go, you got to go, you got to go. Being successful takes huge leaps. Getting to medical school is not for the faint of heart, right? We have to have excellent accomplishments. We have to be the exception, not the rule, right? We have to be exceptional. How can you be exceptional if you don't push yourself, if you don't stretch yourself past your limits? If you don't see what the end of your potential is, if you don't say, I could be more than this, if you are just what you are, how could you ever be great? And as pre-meds, it starts with your studying. How many of you guys as students study the way you study because you've always studied that way? And how many of you guys as students get crappy results? You don't get the grades you want, yet what do you keep going back to time and time again? You go to cheesy hacks, superficial tips that make you feel better for a day. And then you recognize and you realize that this superficial stuff can't change the deep-seated issues you have as a student, right? And then what do? You say, oh, this isn't working. I'm gonna go back to being and doing the old stuff that I'm used to doing, because even though it doesn't get me the A, at least, what do we say? At least it feels good. It feels comfortable, right? I'm just gonna go to lecture and I'm gonna sit there with the PowerPoint. I'm gonna be confused the whole lecture and I'm not gonna ask questions. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna pre-read because reading is hard, is difficult. How many of you guys are scared to go for it, scared to commit to saying, you know what, I could be a better student, but to become a better student, you know what, that takes effort. Am I scared of hard work? I literally, I can't tell you how many times students tell me, they'll be like, Dr. Pinesett, they'll run up to me at a conference or I'm out speaking at an event. Dr. Pinesett, oh my gosh, your keynote was amazing. Listen, I need your help. Everything you were talking about, I'm going through. I doubt myself. My studying's all over the place. I procrastinate constantly. I think I might have ADHD undiagnosed. Oh my gosh, I need your help. Help me out. Tell me how to improve my studying. I say, hey, no problem. I got a comprehensive program. It's called the 5 Pillars of Studying Less to Get Better Grades. Comes with dozens of hours of on-demand lectures. It also comes with live coaching with me where you can ask me any question you have. We can tighten up any issue you have. We can fix it and make you incredible. Here we go. Get it. Here's a discount code. And do you know what some of these students say to me? Oh, Dr. Pinesett, you said dozens of hours of content. You said I got to show up to coaching? Wait, you do 2-3 hours of coaching at a time? No. I just need you to tell me something right now I can do that can change me. And then I just smile and I walk away. I don't even engage with it, because you know what that is? That's you not trusting yourself to follow through and commit and do the work. That's the fear you have that, oh, if I enroll in this program, I'm going to be like the 80-something% of people who enroll in a program or a course who don't complete it. Think about that, guys. I'm like, wait, you say you're too busy to go through dozens of hours of lecture. You're too busy sucking? You're too busy feeling good while you don't get the grade you want? I don't understand. You're too busy to get good. You're too busy being bad to get good. That makes no sense. But what it shows is you don't have the trust in yourself to be something better, to do something new. You don't trust yourself. If you want to become an exceptional student, I had to go out on a limb and say, yes, I am a first-generation college student. Yes, I do feel like an imposter. Yes, as a matter of fact, I am gosh darn dumb. But I trust myself. I know I may not be the smartest. I may not have the most talent. I may not have the most resources. But I do trust myself to work my ass off. I do believe in myself that my work ethic is strong. The problem, and I recognize this, is I've been trying to work hard academically. My dad's best advice, my college flunk out dad's best advice, my dad flunked out of college. His advice to me, and I listened to it as he went off to college, he said, son, college is easy. Try having a job. You get in there, you work hard, and you get those grades. That's what he told me. So I went off to college like, I'm going to work hard. And I was head down, working hard, long hours, all kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, what happened, y'all? I'm flunking. I'm repeating the pattern. I'm listening to someone who flunked out, and I almost found myself flunking out of college. I had to look at that and say, wait, working hard is not sufficient. I have that work ethic, but how about I redirect that work ethic instead of trying to put in long hours, instead of trying to crush the material? How about I put that focus into my development? What if I believe and I trust my work ethic and I believe and I trust myself to get better? And I trusted myself, guys. And I put the effort in, I put the work in. And it didn't take as long as I thought it would, it turns out. But I started studying. I started studying, learning, started studying what my habits were doing to me, how my habits were crushing me each and every day. I flipped the script. And by doing so, I became the successful student, the A student, y'all. And not only did I become the A student, but the best part is when we trust ourselves enough to change, to modify what we're doing, to try to work smart instead of doing what we've always done and working hard, what happens is we become more efficient. We become more effective. We're a sharpened tool. Instead of trying to cut the steak with a butter knife, we're like Salt Bae, baby. We slicing that meat up. We slicing our classes up. That's what I became. And so I got the A's, but I got them only 2 hours a day. Total. That's 10 hours total a week. I did 5 days, 2 hours a day. That includes, I didn't go to lecture. I didn't need lecture. I was better than lecture all of a sudden because I changed. Lecture became inefficient, became a time waste. Who needs a teacher? I'm my own teacher, my own instructor. And I got the A's. I went to Stanford and I loved medical school every second of it because I was crushing cats there. Because I had the systems. I trusted myself enough to change. And here's the cool thing, guys. When we trust ourselves enough to believe we could be more, when we trust ourselves enough to put the work in to be more, is you then can develop the trust in yourself to say, I'm not only just going to be better today, but each and every day I'm going to get better. I'm going to elevate. And you trust yourself to never stop your improvement. And so for me, right, one of the great books that changed my life is Awaken the Giant Within, Tony Robbins. And his philosophy, his mantra became my mantra. It was CANI, C-A-N-I. Constant and never-ending improvement. And when he said that, and when he wrote about that, it hit me so deep, and I recognized that's what I trust in. I can't trust that I'm going to have the most money. I can't trust that I'm going to be the smartest. I'm still not the smartest. But I'm the best grades having cat out here. I am a professional anesthesiologist, right, who gets to treat patients at a high freaking level. I am a master studier. I am a master educator and speaker. Why? Because I trusted that no matter where I am today, I can trust in the fact that I can constantly and I can for always improve myself. And I recognize that most people aren't willing to put themselves out there like that and say, listen, I can get better. But that's where it starts, guys. We understand what I'm saying right now? If you're with me right now, if you're liking this live action, live stream with Dr. Pinesett, like the video right now, comment, let me know on alone. Spencer, what up? Dejan, what is up? Julian, what is up? Dejan, new accepted student in the medical school. One of my students in the medical school. I love it. Right? And Spencer said, my dad told me the same thing, right? Just go and he said, C's get degrees. But C's don't, yeah, C's may get degrees, but you know what C's get? A med school rejection. And you know what Spencer doesn't have? He doesn't have a med school rejection. He has multiple acceptances, including multiple acceptances with wonderful scholarship money. And I'm so proud of Spencer, right? We got Dejan on here, we got Spencer on here. Both of them starting medical school in the fall. Very proud of them. That's what we're trying to achieve, guys. We have to trust. And can we sidetrack here for a second? As we trust ourselves to get better, to invest in ourselves, to put the time in, to improve, I have to give a shout out to trusting the right people through your improvement. And Dejan and Spencer are two guys who have been with me for multiple years now, 4 or 5 years-ish. And Spencer a little longer than that even. Trusted me enough to say, hey, Dr. Pinesett, what you're saying is crazy. And I know it, guys. I get it. I see the comments. I say stuff and y'all be like, dang, this guy is nuts. He's off his rocker. He's saying the exact opposite of what I've heard time and time again about how to be successful on the MCAT, how to be successful on the application, how to be successful as a pre-med, how to be successful as a person. He's saying the opposite of what everybody says. But the few will trust in the crazy guy. And that crazy guy all of a sudden starts making sense. And it's like, oh snap, why would I do what everyone else is doing. Why would I zig when they're all zigging? How about I zag and I work around smarter and I come at that from a different angle? Sneak attack, pow pow to success. That's what I want to do. And so I want to say thank you to the students who do trust me, who put their faith in the crazy guy. To understand I'm not crazy. I'm just looking at the world from a different perspective, from a smarter perspective, trying to get you guys ahead. So Spencer, Dijon, thank you guys so much for trusting me, trusting yourselves in me, and getting to your success and getting to your med school acceptance. Okay? That's the first part we're hitting. That's part one. Let's transition to part two, right? So we're talking about trusting ourselves to put the work in to improve ourselves. Now, let's look at once we improve, once we're actually now going to take action, we're going to start studying, we're going to start being in a club, we're going to start doing research, we're going to do whatever. When you guys go into these experiences, so many students sell themselves short. They go into an experience with low expectations of themselves and they project those low expectations out to other people. You like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. Maybe you guys, can I ask as a group, can we take a survey real quick? How many of you guys have seen someone and you look at them and you can tell they don't trust themselves? They're uncertain of their place. How many of you guys can look at someone and you can see that they're very confident in themselves? There's no doubt. They trust themselves. They're confident in who they are. I had a student come shout at me the other day. And the student came and shouted me, and the posture they were having, the way they spoke, everything about them screamed, I don't trust myself. I don't know who I am. I don't believe in myself. And so I had to have a talk with them like, hey, listen, what's going on? Are you going to be a doctor? And they go, well, yeah, I want to be a doctor. I said, no. Are you going to be a doctor? Well, I really want to be. And I said, you got to believe with everything inside you that you have what it takes to be a doctor. If you don't believe you can become a doctor, how are you going to become it? I said, you reek of non-trust. And if you don't trust yourself, you're in a clinical environment. You're here shadowing, you're all timid, like in the back corner. If you don't trust yourself, how can I trust you? How can I have faith in you? How can I be like, oh yeah, this person is going to be a great doctor. Oh my gosh, they're great. They were so eager. Your fear is coming off as the anti-eager. Like you don't want to be here. You're not excited to be here. You're overwhelmed by it. So for you guys, right, we got to be able to project our self-trust. And to do that, it starts with knowing who we are and trusting in who we are. And what's powerful about this, right? I just talked about the other side of that, these students who put their trust in me. And what I find is a lot of my students, they suffer from the same things you guys suffer from, the self-doubt and all that kind of stuff. But there's something about them where they know what they want. They know they want medical school. They know they want to become a doctor. And they know why. They know their why. And for you guys as students, how many of you guys aren't clear on your why? Not just your why you want to be a doctor, because that's a smaller subset of a question. The bigger question is, why are you alive? What are you about? Who are you? Who do you want to be? What impact do you want to make in this world? What are the characteristics that you want to bring to the table? As pre-medical students, it's very easy to get swept up into the wave of pre-med zombies. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do this. I encourage all my students, first thing we sit down, I say, wait, forget everything you've done. What do you want to do? What matters to you in your hearts? Who are you and what are you really caring about? And if you can do that, guys, if you can get aligned on who you are and you can trust and know who you are, what's amazing about that is a couple things. One is that you will gravitate towards others who are you in another form, who are your true self, right? You are who you roll with, but you'll start to collect those people. So my cult of greatness, right, my students, it's like a hive mind because we understand who we are and what we want from ourselves and what we expect from ourselves. And so we pull this in and we become this crazy cult. That's what it is when you know who you are, you can see who you can see yourself in other people. How many of you guys are around a bunch of people who ain't your peoples? Right? How many of you guys don't know who you are, so you don't know who others are? And this is so important because on this here internet, there's a lot of people out here. And the internet is cool and it's amazing because it puts the whole world at your fingertips. But the problem is not everybody was meant to have a platform. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Is that fair to say? Not everyone was meant to have their voice heard. They'd be better off being canned and put away on the back shelf. And because of that, right? And then the proliferation of short form content, people talk for 30 seconds, right? I'm doing 30-minute live streams, hour-long live streams. When someone talks for 30 seconds, it's easy to go copy off someone and sound smart for 30 seconds. And when I got on TikTok, it's funny. And by the way, I'm at Premed Productivity across all social media if you want to follow me, at Premed Productivity. When I got on TikTok, there's this thing called a stitch, and I forget the other one's called, whatever. Well, people take a snippet of your video and then comment on your video. And I watched this go down. At first, I was getting mad. So I'm like, this bozo, that's not true. But I recognize in this world, it's so easy. It's so much easier to comment, to criticize, to critique other people than it is to come up with your own original idea. Did everybody? It's so easy. That's why people love TikTok. I'm gonna copy this dance. How about you become a choreographer and create your own dance? That's talent. It takes no talent to copycat. And so that's what the internet runs into. But if you know who you are, you know what you want, and you really invest the time to figure out what it takes to get there, you're gonna gravitate towards people who are truly experienced, people who truly have your best interest in heart. And that's what I offer. Like, people get in my programs like, oh, there's gonna be all this information. There's a ton of information I'm throwing at you, a ton of novel things that I've created. But the most important thing I offer to students, this is the truth, is I offer them someone that they can trust in and they can rely on, someone who's not going to judge them, someone they can talk to like totally openly. And because they can do that, they can show me all their warts. I can show them how to fix their warts and turn themselves from the little frog into a prince who gets the girl at the end of the movie. That's what I do for students. I support them, I'm there for them, and I give them someone they can trust in to reveal everything about themselves. And then we shape that into amazingness. But when we know who we are, then we're comfortable telling people about our warts, telling people that we're not perfect. And I'm by no means perfect. But every single day I aspire to be more and more and more perfect. Every single day. And so when we know who we are, we won't be led astray by people who don't have our best interest in heart. So if we know that we're meant to be a doctor, we're meant to be successful, then we will carry out the actions of a successful person, and we won't be led astray by the friends like, hey, let's go to this party. By the friend who's like, hey, listen, forget that exam. But no, this is my future right in front of me. And I was just texting today with one of my students who's now moved up as a second-year medical student, and he was like, hey, Dr. Pinesett, what's going on? I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, he's like, I'm a second year now. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. How's it going? And I'm like, he's like, and he replies, oh yeah, I got 5 abstracts out. I got 2 publications coming up. I'm crushing it. Everything's going amazing. I'm like, yeah, that's great. You're clearly following what I tell people to do in my dominant med school course. Thank you for doing that. But wait, how are the grades? Are you focusing in your classes? Are you building up your clinical knowledge so that you are a well-versed medical student and future clinician? Don't forget that, because that's what matters. That's priority number 1. And he's like, oh, no, I got that. And he was like, actually, I'll read exactly what he said, because it's actually really good what he said. I love the response. I was like, ooh, yes. So I was like, make sure you know your medical stuff and that you do well in classes. Without the classwork and test scores, research is empty. What specialty you think about? He's like, ortho. And he's like, no, I'm on it. I got all the books I need. He's like, I'm constant thought. All I'm thinking about is focused on that. He said, how could this lead to this? How could this do this? And I'm breaking it all down, already on it. And I'm studying for STEP already as finishing first year while doing all this. This is all I do. Obsessed. Hashtag. That's knowing yourself. I'm focused. I'm dedicated. I'm ahead of the curve. I'm on it. No, this is not Richard. This is a different student. Right? That's what I want to see from my students, is that they know themselves, not being led astray by the medical schools that mislead. And it's not on purpose. The medical schools bring me in. I've done in the last, I've done a half dozen med school talks in the last couple of months. And I go into these medical schools. These medical schools pay me to come in and teach. And basically, I unteach their students. Because for a year, if they're MS1s, or for 2 years, if they're MS2s, or even for 3 years, if they're MS3s, all they've been told is, hey, do this, it's okay, or they've been cracking the whip. Oh, if you don't do this, you're blah, blah. So there's all these extremes in medical school. So I have to come in, I have to break all the broken frameworks and knowledge that the medical schools have given them, and then I have to give them tactical advice on how to be successful in their own way. And this talks go amazingly, and the kids love it and all that stuff. And I call them kids, they're adults, but these young people are all excited. But it's because, guys, we're opening up opportunities to be successful on your terms. And that's why it's so important as we pivot here. You're going to stay away from people who aren't your people. You're going to find people who are your people. But most importantly, you're going to be your kind of people. You're going to live your life on purpose, on passion, because you're centered in who you are. You can trust, this is who I am. Right? And as a A quick sidebar, let's test yourselves. Do you guys want to do a test to see if you trust yourself? Describe yourself in one sentence. So write these questions down. Describe yourself in one sentence. Who are you? If I asked, who are you? If you can describe it in one sentence, you can trust that you know who you are. If you can't, it's time to get some clarity, right? Because that precision is clarity. For me, I'm Dr. Andre Pinesett, and I love my family, and I love helping students live up to their potential. It's one sentence. One sentence. I love my family, and I love helping my students reach their potential. I can trust, I know exactly who I am and what I'm about. And if you look at my life and all the actions I've taken from pre-med to med school, whatever, it's always been the same. It's family time and it's student time. Investing in you guys, investing in my family. Because that's my trust in myself. Okay? Second question. Do you keep your promises to yourself? Or are you someone who's constantly lying to yourself? Let's ask, right? Do you keep your promises? Oh, I promise this semester is going to be different. This time I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity. Are you constantly breaking your promises? I'm going to make this schedule. That schedule's a promise. Are you breaking the promise to yourself? A lot of broken promises, right? Next question. Can you rely on yourself to follow through on your commitments? Or are you someone who's constantly dropping activities, who's constantly dropping pursuits? Who's there? Right? I got a friend who every time I see him, he's got some new big scheme to get rich. Every time I see him. And I'm like, buddy, if you just put half this attention into one of these schemes and saw it through, you'd be successful. But you keep flip-flopping because you can't rely on yourself to follow through on your commitments. Right? How many of you guys take on all of these extracurriculars and then you don't follow through? Right? How often do you, this is very important, listen to how I word this. How often do you meet your own standards? This is not a comparative. How often do you meet your very own standard? The standard that you set for yourself. This is what I expect from myself. This is my standard. How many times do you meet that standard, or do you find yourself constantly falling short of your standard, letting yourself down, being a suboptimal person to yourself? Right? And if you go through all these questions, ask yourself, right? At the summation of all these questions, have I proven to myself that I am trustworthy, or have I proven to myself that I'm not someone who can be trusted? Right? It becomes very clear. It becomes very, very clear. You have to be able to trust yourself. This is my passion. I will not be dissuaded to follow something else. I'm following my passion. Right? If you're still with me, we're at 28 minutes right now. If you are still here with me right now, like this video, if you're listening to this on the podcast, take a second and say, dang, Dr. Pinesett's really getting in this today, right? Especially just said, we're getting real in here. Take a second and leave a review, right? It's the Premed Productivity Podcast. I'm here for you guys every Monday, every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. Today we're at 6 p.m., right? A little later because I was at work. I'm here to help you guys dive deep, dig in, look at yourselves, reflect on yourselves, improve yourselves, right? We've talked about the lack of trustworthiness and the importance of being trustworthy, but now let's flip it, right? Because we always have to have action. How do we go from being this person who we fill with self-doubt, we can't trust ourselves, we can't execute, we don't do what we're supposed to do? How do we become the person who we can trust? It starts here, guys. It starts here. Get clarity on your goals. I get it. You say, I want to become a doctor. Sure. But what are the key steps to get there? What does it mean to you to be a doctor? There's all different types of doctors, not just specialties, but are you going to be an academic? Are you going to be in private practice? Are you going to be someone who mentors? Are you going to be do health outreach? What kind of doctor are you going to be? And this is so important because we have to get clear on these, because then once we get clear on these shades of what our doctor life is, it allows us to track back and say, okay, wait, here are the experiences and here are the skills that I need to develop. Here's the experience I need to have and the skills I need to develop. And now that gives us these smaller incremental, right, achievable moments and goals that will guide our daily and our weekly and our monthly lives. So that way we can recognize and see and evaluate, am I on track to become the specific type of doctor I want to be? Then not just professionally, what are my goals personally? And this is so, so valuable, guys. I recognized early on I had a lot of bad mental traits. I was the self-doubt. I was the person who didn't really know myself. I just want to kind of fit in. I don't want to really be seen. I just want to exist right in the space because I feel like an imposter. So if they see me, they'll see I'm an imposter. I just want to kind of blend in. How many guys are there? And so I recognized that I had a lot of mental sickness. Not quite illness. I had a lot of mental sickness. And so I had to go and scoop all that junk out of my brain and replace it with much more positive things. And I recognized I had to do this because, yes, professionally it would help me, but also at a personal level. How many of you guys feel like you're trapped in a toxic relationship with yourself? Right? When you're beating yourself up, beating yourself down, always, right? Never lifting up, always tearing yourself down, pulling yourself in the wrong direction. Like, how did we get here? How did this relationship devolve like this, right? Me, myself, and I, it's a terrible relationship. I recognized I was in a toxic relationship with myself, and I had to fix that, and I had to clear that up, and I had to get rid of that negative self-talk. I had to do some different things. I had to modify so I could be better professionally, but then also personally so I could have healthy relationships like I do with my wife now. So I could have healthy relationships and dynamics with my family members who sometimes don't have the healthiest dynamics, right? I had to make that setup to change my whole life, not just professionally, but also personally on a different note. So what are those goals and how we want to be and what are the experiences and skills I have? So I went deep into psychology. I went deep into the study of mental health and mental fitness, right? So mental illness, mental sickness, mental health, right? And then we got mental, right, fitness, where we're not just healthy, we super fit. And that's where I exist now, is that mental fitness. So I made those alterations. Does that make sense to everybody? So you want to get clear on your goals and then clear on how you're going to get there, the skills and experiences. The second thing is, guys, and this is, again, this is all stuff that I did. I only tell you guys what I do, what I practice, what I preach. Okay? The second thing you have to do is you have to get consistent. Everybody wants something quick. Everybody wants a quick hitter, tip, blah, 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 blah. Everyone thinks they're going to get the A in one day, but I constantly say here, straight A's are not made in a day. They're not made in one way. Straight A's are made every day and every way in everything you do. Get consistent, guys. Literally, I'm not the smartest person. I'm not the best reader. I don't have a photographic memory. I don't have any of that stuff. But I'm able to get the top grades. I'm able to pass all my board exams. I'm able to be this amazing, dynamic, critical care physician as an anesthesiologist. Why? Because I'm consistent. I didn't cram. Every single day, just a little bit in my brain. It's easy. Oh, I'll learn this one fact. I'll learn this. The power of consistency. Be consistent in your life. Every single day, make strides towards your goal, towards the A, towards becoming class president, towards getting the research publication. Because showing up one day and saying, I want a research publication, is not going to happen. Every single day, are you showing up consistently? And showing up, listen to me. Yes, you show up, but you consistently show up and show out. What does that mean, to show out? That means I'm not just present. I'm gosh darn omnipresent. I'm everything. I'm in this moment. I'm locked in. I'm focused. I'm not thinking about the next thing. I'm thinking about this thing. How can I execute right here, right now? How can I bring my best to whatever's in front of me? My books, my research, my club, my volunteering. How can I be my best? And if you do that and you focus in, you consistently show up and you consistently show out, what you'll see is you'll start to notice that people are noticing you. Oh, wow. Andre's been volunteering here. Look at, every time he's here, everyone seems so chipper. He must be a positive attitude here. Oh my gosh. I'm just looking from afar, but it looks like Andre's helping that person when he doesn't have to. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Oh my gosh, Andre shows up to every single lab meeting. He's taking notes. He's helping with so-and-so's project and so-and-so's project. He's not sulking in the corner like that other pre-med student, right? He's not always calling in sick, sending email, can't be there, missing this. He's the first one here. He's always helping out. Let's give him his own project. Hey, you know what? Andre has showed up to class consistently. He sat in the front row. After he bombed the midterm, he came to me and he said, listen, I've been there. I'm trying everything. I had a rough day. Can I get some extra credit? Can I get a makeup? Can I do anything? Can you help me? Can you tutor me closely, professor, before this final exam? Yes, I'm going to do it because he showed up consistently in this class. And he showed out. He's front row, taking notes diligently. I see him sweating during class, taking these gosh darn notes. Are you going to show up and show out for yourself consistently? Through consistency, guys, you can't lose. If you're consistent and you don't give up, consistency, and then follow it up with that persistency, you win it. You win it forever. Forever, ever? Yes, consistency and persistency. Persistency is a word, trust me. Consistency and persistency, those two things are undefeated. It's the magical combination, y'all. Consistency and persistency. Take that to mind. Persistency. Next up, we try to be consistent. We try to stay on task with our goals. But are we perfect beings? Absolutely not. And so because of that, we're going to fall short. Because of that, we're going to stumble. Because of that, we're going to fail and falter and so forth. When it happens, we don't shut down. When it happens, we don't just gloss over it and ignore it. We hold ourselves accountable because we are our failure in the sense that we create that failure. It's not permanent, but we create that failure. We create that procrastination. When you procrastinate, don't blame it on the distractions. Blame it on the fact that you didn't have the systems in place to keep you from procrastinating. Right? When you don't get the A, don't blame the professor. Take it on. Hold yourself accountable. And the power in this is that you are the only thing you truly have complete control over. I can't control the professor. I can't control the research lab dynamics. I can't control the politics of my school club. But I can control my thoughts, my actions, my effort, my focus towards my activities. So hold yourself accountable and see where you dropped the ball or where you possibly contributed to that shortcoming, and then fix it. You own the mistake, you learn from it, you say, what is the lesson? How can I make sure this never happens again? And then you move forward. Not at the same speed, but even faster, because now you can have more confidence that you're on a better path. So we analyze, we hold ourselves accountable, we analyze, we assess, and then we elevate. Yes, we take off. Failure is a forward movement. Fail fast, fail hard, fail forward so we can get on to the next success. Hold yourself accountable, guys. No more excuses, right? What do we say? No excuses, just dominate. The next step. Everyone talks about not being disciplined enough. How many of you guys struggle with self-discipline? How many of you guys struggle with staying on task? How many of you guys struggle to manage your time, right? To avoid that procrastination. This is so important. Listen to me here. Discipline is a practice. What do I mean by that? What are things that are a practice, right? Like medicine is a practice. Yes? What do I mean by discipline as a practice? What I mean by that is that discipline is not something you just acquire. Discipline is something that you have to constantly and consistently work at and refine. Discipline takes effort. It takes practice. It is a skill that you develop. It is a practice. So it's not just, I'm going to be disciplined. No. You can get more and more disciplined through your practice. And the way that we become disciplined, this is so important, guys. The key to discipline and being on track is A, we get centered in ourselves. But the second part of this is that you have to set up your surroundings to facilitate discipline. If you want to be more disciplined, you need to make a schedule that accounts for every single second of your day. If you want to be more disciplined, you have to be very clear about what your priorities are and what does get on your to-do list and what does not get on your to-do list. And if you are clear on who you want to be, what's a priority to you, and when those priorities are getting done, it turns out you suddenly develop all this self-discipline. How? Because we got clarity, we prioritized, and we put it on the gosh darn schedule. So now we've taken away our opportunity to be undisciplined. Because if you think about the difference between discipline and undisciplined, this is a longer lecture, but I'm going to shrink it. Are you ready? Discipline, the difference between discipline and being undisciplined is simply choice. If left to our own choices, we will 90% of the time make the wrong choice because the wrong choice happens to be the easy choice, the easy thing, the path of least resistance. And so the key to becoming highly disciplined is to remove choice whenever possible. Remove all the little tiny million decisions you make a day. Get rid of those so that way you can be disciplined. And when I'm talking about removing choice and removing decision, and Spencer's already ahead of me because my student, to do that requires that we become the routine. If we develop the right routine, something you do once is an action. Something you intentionally do multiple times is a routine. Something you subconsciously autopilot to and do is the habit that results from that routine repeated multiple times. And that habit that you do all the time, consistently, every single time, becomes the outcome, which is why straight A's are made every day and in every way, not just one day, one way. Did you guys catch that? The action, the routine is the purposeful action, repeated over and over again, that becomes the habit, that becomes your outcome. And so we can become the high successful, high disciplined person by acting consciously with our routine and creating that habit. And we do that, getting clear on what we want, clearing our priorities, right? So only our priorities get on a to-do list, and then making that to-do list into a schedule where every single second is occupied and scheduled. So we eliminate the decision. We eliminate the opportunity to make the wrong decision, to make the wrong choice, to take the easy path. And instead, we take the path that's going to serve us, the purposeful path. Does everybody understand what I'm saying right now? And if you can do that, if you can get clear on your goals, if you can work on being consistent, if you can hold yourself accountable when you don't meet your consistency goals, and if you can practice self-discipline through routine and creating functional habits, it turns out, when we create these habits, these default actions, then we can be relied upon to follow through and carry it out. And so we build that trust in ourselves. We demonstrate that trust. And it plays out because you guys have seen this in your activities, right? Think about people in your lives. Who do you rely on? Who's trustworthy? The people who show up consistently. The habit of showing up and showing up right. Yes! Wonderful. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live stream. We're at 42 minutes. I appreciate you guys all showing up. We're live action Mondays, Wednesdays, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm here to bring you guys positivity, productivity, help you reach your goals. If you are a student and you recognize you need to be able to study better, you need to be able to create that free time, get to my website, premedproductivity.com, and get into my 5 Pillars program. Get the coaching, get the courses, get your game on, y'all. Get it right. If you are a pre-med student and you recognize becoming a doctor is the most important thing to you, and you recognize that you are willing to work and you're ready to live a passionate pre-med life and get to medical school, get to my website, premedproductivity.com, and get into my pre-med programs. If you are a student, we started this whole thing talking about a student who was preparing for their MCAT, and I was like, I can't trust you to get it done. And then you can't even trust you to get it done. If you're ready to become a trustworthy MCAT prepper, if you're ready to dominate the MCAT, then you need to get to my website, premedproductivity.com, and get into my How to Dominate the MCAT Without an Expensive Prep Class course. You get the course, get the coaching with me to refine your MCAT prep, where we zig when others are zagging, and we zag when others are zigging, so we can be different, we can better, and again, attack that MCAT from an angle they ain't ready for. I appreciate you guys coming and hang out with me today. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you guys next time. How do we always end? No excuses, just dominate, guys. Thank you so much for being with me. Appreciate y'all. Later.